pause. So, somebody describe what, and if you can't see, that's okay. But who can't see? Xavier, where, and you get back in what you were doing. Where are they all looking? Like, how would you describe what they're doing?
They look up at the sun.
Okay, so they're looking up at the sun. What else? Michaela?
They're like all close to each other.
They're all close to each other? Yes?
Looking in the same direction.
Uh-huh. I also think that they're kind of on the ground, right? And we know that weeds and flowers come from the ground, so that was also a pretty good thing to get on the ground. Okay, please return back to your seat. So they were all able to kind of visualize the same thing because of this figurative language. So what I would probably write in what image does the figurative language paint in your mind? I would say the children are close together. And looking up to the sky. So the children are close together, looking up at the sky. So again, when I completed this, I used this anchor chart. That was the thought process that helped me find figurative language, and then I just modeled how to fill this out. So already in my head, I have an idea of what the setting looks like, right? Someone describe the setting based on what you can also kind of infer based off of what I wrote here. The children are close together and looking up to the sky. Tomorrow?
Summer.
Okay, it could be summer.
They're outside.
They're outside. That's a great one because you know that if they're looking up at the sky, right now they were looking up at the ceiling, right? But technically you already know that they're outside because they're looking up at the hidden sun. Jewel?
It's daytime because the sun only comes out at daytime.
Okay. Also, the fact that the children are together might also show that it's during school hours.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue reading. And as I read, I'm going to ask myself the same questions as before. It rains. It had been raining for years, for 7 years. Thousands upon thousands of days compounded and filled from one end to the other with rain, with the drum and gush of water, with the sweet crystal fall of showers, and the concussion of storms, so heavy they were tidal waves come over the islands. 1,000 forests have been crushed under the rain and grown up 1,000 times to be crushed again. And this was the way life was forever on the planet Venus. Well, I'm going to pause because in this sentence here, and this was the way life was forever on the planet Venus, I noticed that there is a was. There's also a was here. So I'm going to go back to my chart and ask myself the same question. Well, here, where in the text do you see a like or an as? No. Where in the text do you see is, are, was, and were? Okay, well, I saw a was. So then the next question I need to ask myself, because it could be a metaphor, and again, I know that because of my key points, showing that a metaphor would use the word was, does the text compare two or more things? So I'm going to ask myself, I'm going to read this this statement again, and this sentence from the text, to see if it compares two or more things. And this was the way life was forever. And this was the way life was forever. Does it compare two or more things? No, so it does not. So then, I would say no, so it is not a metaphor. So then I would not put it in my graphic organizer because it's not going to necessarily help me better understand the text, and it's not an example of figurative language. So, everybody just turn the page. Yes, yes, Margaret stood apart from them, from these children who could never remember a time when there wasn't rain and rain and rain. They were all 9 years old, and if they had been a day 7 years ago when the sun came out for an hour and showed its face to the stunned world, they could not recall. Sometimes at night she heard them stir, in remembrance, and she knew they were dreaming and remembering gold, or a yellow crayon, or a coin large enough to buy the world with. She knew that they thought they remembered a warmness, like the blushing in a face and the body and the arms and legs, and trembling hands. But then they always awoke to the tattling drum, the endless shaking down of clear bead necklaces upon the roof, the walk, the gardens, the forest, and their dreams were gone. All day yesterday they had read in class about the sun, about how like a lemon it was, and how hot. So again, I'm going to pause because in this sentence, it uses the words like and was. All yesterday, they had read in the class about the sun, about how like a lemon it was. Well, this is confusing because it uses was and like. So what am I going to do? I'm going to ask myself, seeing if there's two things being compared. Now, if there's two things being compared, I need to ask myself. Yes?
Corey and Karan have it on the dismissal.
Okay, thank you. So I need to ask myself, are the two things being compared by the word like or the word was? So let me first see if there are two things being compared. All day yesterday they read in class about the sun. Well, I know the sun is a noun, and how like a lemon it was. So I know that the sun is being compared to a lemon. But how is it being? Oh, like a lemon. Well, I just said it. So it must be like, not was. So I know, see it? I know that the two things being compared are the sun and the lemon, and they're being compared using the word like. So when I fill this out, I would fill it out the same way. I would copy the text here. So I would say, about the sun. About how, like a lemon, it was. Now I'm going to put quotes around that because again, that's how we use evidence from the text. And that relates to the standard that we talked about before. Then I'm going to say that it's a simile, and I know that because it uses the word like. I know that it's not a metaphor, even though it uses the word was, because the was does not compare the sun to the lemon. What two things are being compared? Well, I just said it. And come here, you can go after this. The sun is being compared to a lemon. Now, what image does the figurative language paint in your mind? So, this one's a little bit easier because it's comparing a lemon and the sun. So, we are going to look at some pictures. I'm going to first ask you to describe a lemon, and then you're going to describe a sun. And we're going to see how the two are similar. This is also what you can do and what we'll be doing today to help us visualize the setting and better understand the parts of the story. Honest, can you go more? Okay, so right here, if we are looking at this picture, how would we describe what we see? Now, I'm going to give you an example. Someone in the other class said sour. Michaela, why are you saying you disagree?
I disagree because you can't take the sun.
This is lemon.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
You're not thinking about how it compares to the sun, but it's not what you see. You can't see that something is sour. So that's why I only want you to focus on what you see with your eyes. So what is a description of what a lemon looks like, or this lemon?
Oh,
Chelsea.
it's yellow.
It's yellow. Awesome. What's another thing that or another adjective that we can use to describe the lemon? Savannah. It's round. Any others? Michaela?
It's shiny.
It's shiny. So now, let's look at the sun. So I already heard someone say round. Does the sun look round?
Yeah.
Okay. What's another word to describe tomorrow?
It's bright.
Okay, it's bright. Jewel?
It is, never mind.
Come here. Okay, yellow. Onyx?
Small.
Small. Okay. Now, looking at these two. Well, we said yellow. Are both of them yellow?
Yes.
Are both of them round?
Yes.
Are both of them shiny?
Yes.
And so I guess that is something that we could compare them as, right? So that's probably why the sun is being compared to a lemon. Because when we think about it, we can say, oh, well, that sun must be shiny. That sun must be yellow, and that sun must be brown. Now, sometimes clouds get in the way of the sun, right?